There's been a lot of conversation about 2028 over the last week, and I feel like we're missing the forest for the trees because obviously 2026 hasn't even happened yet, and we have a long way to go to get to 2028. Now, I understand when people are talking about it because we keep seeing Kamala Harris, and the idea of if she is going to run again is running through people's mind. We saw her last week at the Emerge event, we saw her this week at the Met Gala, and it just seems like people just keep talking about her, and the question is, will she run? No one knows. No one knows if she's going to run for California governor. No one knows if she's going to run for president again. Maybe she will do neither. But the point of this is stop overlooking 2026. But if we are going to talk about 2028, we need to be clear about who voted, who didn't vote, and discuss why we lost the race. Because I feel like we still haven't had a real conversation about why Kamala lost. This is a chart from Professor Cornell Belcher. I'm sure you've seen him on MSNBC, but he did a presentation after the election on the 2024 election and called out why and how Kamala Harris lost. And he took this information from the exit polls that came out. And what it shows here is the estimated vote count by race from 2020 to 2024. So it says for the white vote, it shows that there was plus 2.9 million turnout, right? And 600,000 more white people voted for Trump in 2024 than in 2020. But Kamala Harris got 1.2 million more white votes. With that said, Kamala Harris only got 42% of the white vote, which is actually the mark that she needed to hit with white voters. But 57% of the voters voted for Donald Trump, and they make up 71% of the vote. Per this chart, the black vote was diminished from 2020 to 2024 by 3.6 million votes. Trump got negative 275,000 votes. So he can stop lying that he got more vote in 2024 than he did in 2020, because that's not true. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, she got 3.6 million less votes than Joe Biden. And these are black votes. So we have to ask the question, why didn't more black folks show up? Now let's talk about the Latino vote. So overall, from 2024 to 2020, there was less than 2.2 million Latino votes. But Trump gained 1.9 million more Latino votes than he did in 2020, which was mostly from Latino men, especially young Latino men. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, was a negative 3.8 million Latino vote, and that is problematic. So we know that there was a turnout issue in 2024 compared to 2020, and that is problematic. Of course, black voters that actually showed up at the polls, yeah, it was 92% women and there was 82% black men. That was amazing for the people that actually turned out, and it was consistent with 2020. The problem is there was a lot of people that sat on the couch, and that is what Democrats need to combat. How do you get young people to get off the couch, older people, Gen Z, Gen X, all millennials to show up to vote? There has to be a motivating factor. This is also important. This chart from Tufts University, they have the circle, and this is data that was provided. What alarms me is that 7% less young black women showed up in 2024. The same thing for Latina women. You see that right there? That is a big difference, 56 to 37. Same with Latino men. That is a 12% drop off. Same with black men, 6% drop off from 2020 to 2024. We also know that the white vote was consistent. White men showed up. They showed up 2% less. White women showed up 2% less. If we sit home, we cannot win. And I'm talking about Latinos and black folks. The Democratic Party has to reckon with this and figure out, how do we get people to turn out? And that means we're going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what needs to be done. I am tired of the conversation that keeps happening because it is missing the forest for the trees. It is about turnout, and we didn't get it. Period.